clothespins to heroes. These guys get the glory. This man made it happen. How'd he do it? Dick Schaap found out. Those marvelous Mets. When 2020 continues.
We don't usually worry about our competition, but we're glad the New York Mets aren't playing tonight. And at the risk of alienating practically every other city that has a Major League Baseball team, we're going to showcase those Mets. Now, Boston fans, don't get angry. And all of you in Houston and Anaheim, we don't want you to be offended. But the Mets do have the best record in baseball. And since they used to be the biggest losers round, and since all the crowd here just knows that they're going to win the World Series, we thought, why wait till October? Besides, if the Mets take a nosedive, well, then we'll just bring Dick Schaap back here and make him eat crow.
They are amazing. They'll be amazing, amazing, amazing.
Their first manager, Casey Stengel, who had a gift for words, labeled them the Amazing Mets. And when they were created a quarter of a century ago and greeted with a ticker tape parade, they were amazing, amazingly bad. Now the New York Mets are amazingly good, the best team in baseball in '86. Outfielder Darryl Strawberry stirs the Mets, still an emerging star, power and potential unlimited. Catcher Gary Carter at 32 calls himself the Kid and plays a child's game like a man. Outfielder Lenny Dykstra doesn't know at 5'8" and 155 pounds, he's too small to play big league ball. He's nicknamed Nails, as in tough as. Dwight Gooden, the Doc, some people say, may be the best pitcher in baseball history. And some say he may be only the fourth best on the '86 Mets. First baseman Keith Hernandez wields a golden glove and a quick bat. He joined the Mets when they were a joke only 3 years ago, and now he's having the last laugh.
I feel that every player should play one season in New York and on a winner.
But the MVP of the Mets, the man most responsible for lifting the team from the bottom of the National League to the top, artistically and commercially, is this white-haired, bow-tied, slightly pot-bellied, 59-year-old leprechaun, a reformed lawyer and sports writer named J. Frank Cashin.
Who runs the baseball operation?
Frank Cashin.
Completely?
Absolutely. Totally.
Do you offer him any advice, guidance?
I'm not smart enough to offer him any advice. I don't know enough about it. He does the whole thing, and he keeps me well informed in what he's doing, but it's his bat and ball, really.
Owner Nelson Doubleday's great-great-uncle Abner may have invented baseball. But Frank Cashin, as executive vice president and general manager of the Mets, has certainly revived the game in Shea Stadium. 6 years ago, Cashin took command of a team floundering on the field and at the box office. A last-place team that, the previous season, had drawn fewer than 1 million fans. Cashin was hired to put talent in the lineup and to put backsides in the seats, to build a team and sell it. He built in two ways, by trading for players and by developing players. His key trades brought the Mets Carter and Hernandez, plus 3 starting pitchers, Ron Darling, Bob Ojeda, and Sid Fernandez.
And I'm a pitching guy. I just believe in pitching. I think it's 75% of the game.
Cashin also believes in the new math, a baseball theory called addition by subtraction.
Addition by subtraction is when you have somebody with the ball club which really is maybe has decent talent, but it's kind of a drawback on the ball club. And just by getting rid of them, whether you release them, trade them, whatever you do, you improve your ball club by removing certain players from your club.
Only one man who started the 1980 season with the Mets is still with the Mets. Cashin not only rebuilt the big league team, he rebuilt a badly frayed minor league system. He signed Dykstra, Gooden, and Strawberry out of high school and nurtured them, plus a dozen other current Mets, in a farm system led by the Tidewater Tides that has become baseball's strongest, a system stocked with bright prospects that emphasizes aptitude and attitude.
One of the theories that I very strongly believe in and practice is that you really can't teach winning at the major league level. Ball players are winners before they get to the major leagues.
It starts here, in places like this, Veterans Memorial Stadium, home of the Class A Little Falls Mets, a place where teenagers can dream of becoming New York Mets.
The dream seems a possible dream when Cashin's vice president for baseball operations, his chief talent scout, Joe McIlvaine, visits Little Falls in upstate New York. A former seminarian and a former minor league pitcher, McIlvaine can make careers or break them. Every one of the 180 players in the Mets' major and minor league system performs on the playing field of his mind.
My mind is like a file. I just remember each player as a picture. I try to put a mental picture up there of each player and write notes down that would be helpful to recall something that might be hard to recall. But each player out there, to me, is upstairs, and I can see them at night when I go to sleep. I can see them.
McIlvaine himself dreams of the perfect player, perfectly evaluated.
Each player is really almost like a jigsaw puzzle. The toughest thing is not judging the physical ability. The toughest thing to do as a professional evaluator is to try and read what's inside that boy's stomach and guts and in his mind.
To read a young pitcher, McIlvaine will listen to his pregame plan.
Basically, to be aggressive and get ahead with the first pitch fastball strike, and to keep the ball down in the strike zone.
Then assess his game performance.
This is what you watch. Here you've got second and third, 2 outs, fly ball, got him. But when he didn't back off, he went right after the hitter and didn't try to be cute or try to hit the corners. He went right after the hitter and he got him out.
McIlvaine recognizes courage and appreciates breeding. Jamie Roseborough and Bill Robinson Jr. are two of the 3 sons of ex-major leaguers now playing in the Mets farm system.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 9, Jamie Roseborough.
When you get a kid like this, with breeding, does it help or?
Yeah, anytime you come from good genes, that's a plus right away. It's just, you just can't get away from it. You know, when their fathers were good players, a lot of times it rubs off.
Darryl Strawberry won't mind at all if he's replaced someday by a youngster well-bred for baseball.
Well, it might be my son, you know. He's only 1 right now, but he's got a long way to go, and you never know what might happen.
I'd like to take an option on all Darryl Strawberry's kids right now.
If Cashin's chief deputy for baseball is McIlvaine, his chief deputy for business is Al Harrison, a lawyer, once a minor league owner, who came to the Mets with Cashin.
Well, basically, we had to do 3 things. We had to turn the product around, we had to turn the presentation around, and we had to turn the packaging around.
Harrison promptly hired ad man Jerry Delafemina, who summed up his reaction to the assignment in 1 word.
Panic.
Delafemina thought the Mets needed a miracle. He offered a slogan.
The magic really wasn't back, but people began to believe that it was back.
What we did in our promotion is we decided we would talk about the past, about how great baseball was in the past. We would promise the future, and we would pray that no one would think of the present, because the present was just terrible.
The magic gave way to a more truthful slogan. The stars were starting to rise, which gave way to today's less grammatical motto, a motto that could welcome to Shea Stadium this season more than 3 million fans, a record for any New York team. Ironically, the bait that best lures the fans, a great team, could cut down attendance in the closing weeks of the season. Cashin and Harrison are facing up to the fact that the Mets could clinch their division championship by early September, killing even the small hint of drama that draws people to a pennant race.
Try to get an average of 40-plus on a weeknight in September with a big lead would be tough.
There isn't a whole lot you can do, but I was thinking of things like Fan Appreciation Day and things like that. There's anything we can do to put the hype on that, it would be helpful.
Pennant race or not, Harrison believes the single most effective marketing tool for the Mets, besides winning, is their television broadcasts.
If you think about broadcasts and telecasts, we have 162 opportunities to present our product to the public for 3 hours a day.
By teaming rising Tim McCarver with veteran Ralph Kiner, Harrison has clearly upgraded the Met telecasts and created Met fans. And while McCarver and Kiner work the booth, Larry, Curly, and Moe, the Three Stooges, worked the scoreboard, encouraging Met fans to match their antics to a tune called the Curly Shuffle.
Well, yuck, 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 yuck. What is he? What is he? So we never miss a chance. We get up and dance and do the curly.
Art Richmond, Cashin's special assistant, has been promoting the Mets for 2 decades.
I took players to Sing Prison because those fellas have to have a little entertainment too, and they do get out of eventually, and they become Mets fans, and their families become Mets fans.
Met fans are encouraged to get to know the players. When you come into the park, you can even pose with a wooden cutout of Gary Carter.
How does it feel to be a wooden cutout?
Well, you know, Dick, absolutely marvelous.
To ensure future Met fans, the kid greets other kids at the end of a pregame baseball clinic.
Did you learn something today? You didn't? Nothing?
It helps the Mets' image, too, when pitcher Roger McDowell offers friendship and T-shirts to homeless children, and when third baseman Ray Knight offers public service counsel against drunk driving.
Governor Cuomo's Athletes Against Drunk Driving team wants you to have the courage to say no to drinking and driving. After that...
To help the players cope with New York's massive media barrage, the Mets have even hired a professional broadcaster, Andrea Kirby, to teach communication skills.
You don't look at him. It looks like you're not interested.
The Mets locker room is a winner's locker room, brimming with energy and good humor. Contests of chance and of skill waged with the same intensity the Mets show on the field. Small triumphs in electronic golf games celebrated with small high fives. Post-game meals like strings of victories taken in stride. The Mets know they're good. Sometimes they let other teams know it too. Their rally caps, a gimmick to inspire run scoring, are fairly harmless. But the Mets' more blatant on-field displays, high fives, very high fives, and home run bows do irritate rivals. And once in a while, that irritation erupts into anger. The Mets lead the league in brawls this season, as well as in almost everything else. Ray Knight is a terrific right-hand hitter, with a bat, too.
Knight hits him with a right cross, and here they come. Both benches ebbing as we see fights breaking out around.
7 innings, and he hit Ray Knight, and here comes an altercation.
Their frustrated opponents may have to put up with the Mets' strength and power and pugnaciousness for several more seasons. 17 of the Mets are under 30.
You got to have that youth, because the youth creates enthusiasm, and you got to have the experience, because the experience knows how to handle the enthusiasm. So you need a mixture.
The Mets' mixture is magnificent. Just the blend that could produce a dynasty.
How many World Series would you like to play in?
I like to play in every World Series. We can play every year.
We're very close now to winning, and after that, I expect to contend for some years.
Cashin picked the trades. Cashin picked the draft choices. Cashin picked the manager, Davey Johnson. Cashin picked up the Mets. Now it is up to them to pick him up and carry him to a world championship.
Well, they're on their way. Amazing is the only word, though, Dick, because I can remember when they began, they were in the very last place.
Well, 24 years ago today, they not only were last, they were 51 games out of first place. They had lost 13 games in a row, and their losing streak was broken by, of all people, Marvelous Marv Thornberry.
Gives one faith. On a serious side, Dick, 2 of the guys in the Mets, and they're a pretty feisty team, are under indictment for allegedly assaulting a couple of Houston policemen. What's going to happen?
Well, there'll probably be a trial, or there may be a trial, but it probably won't be until after the season is over. As you know, I mean, an indictment doesn't necessarily mean a conviction or an acquittal. They will be arraigned sometime next week, probably in absentia, and then there probably will be a trial after the season.
After the season.
But they'll get to play the World Series first, if they get there.
And if they don't, you're going to come back here and you know what, right?
Absolutely, I'm ready.